All right, so you want to know more about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne? Well, get ready because we're about to take a deep dive into this classic.
Gets right.
We're talking fascinating history, cutting-edge science for the time, and of course, a whole lot of adventure.
Definitely.
I mean, think about it. Back in 1869, when this book was published, people thought the ocean depths were more mysterious than Mars.
Yeah, I know. It's wild to think about, right? Back then, the ocean was this
Right.
uncharted territory full of potential dangers, and the idea of sea monsters was much more, well, it was more captivating to the public imagination than what might be on, like, another planet.
Yeah, it's like the ocean was this blank canvas and people just projected all these fears and fantasies onto it.
Exactly.
But you know what's really interesting? Verne's book didn't just capture imaginations back then. It actually inspired real-life explorers like Jacques Cousteau.
Right.
Even Robert Ballard, the guy who found the Titanic.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Dern's vision wasn't just a flight of fancy. It really sparked a curiosity that led to actual scientific discoveries and exploration.
Okay, so let's set the scene.
Okay.
Think back to those mysterious events that kind of kicked off this whole story.
Yeah.
Ships being rammed, rumors of this giant narwhal running around causing havoc, and the newspapers just going crazy with all sorts of wild theories.
It was a media frenzy for sure, but you have to remember that at the time, the ocean depths were this unknown frontier. So it was easy for people to let their imaginations run wild.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, it was like every sea monster legend from Moby Dick to the Kraken was suddenly back in the news again.
It was a perfect storm of uncertainty and fear, really.
And then you have that incident with the Scotia,
Right.
a well-respected ship, part of the Cunard Line. I mean, these weren't some flimsy fishing boats.
Oh, no, no.
When it turned up damaged in such a bizarre way, it really took things to another level.
It really fueled the fire. I mean, this wasn't just speculation anymore. Something big was happening.
So how did Professor Aronnax, our narrator, react to all of this? I mean, he's a man of science.
Well, initially he dismissed the idea of a giant narwhal.
Right.
He was skeptical.
Right.
But even he admits to being swayed by all the monster talk going around.
So even a level-headed scientist could get caught up in all the hype?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
So at this point, the public is pretty much divided.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right.
Some people are determined to solve the scientific mystery, but others, they're just terrified and they want this monster destroyed, whatever it takes.
Like that age-old question, right?
Yeah.
How do you balance scientific curiosity with, with public safety when you're dealing with something that's completely unknown and potentially very dangerous?
That's the dilemma, isn't it?
So they decide to outfit the warship Abraham Lincoln for a full-on monster hunt.
I mean, it really was outfitted for a serious expedition.
And of course, Professor Aronnax, the scientist, is eager to join.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was hoping to bring back a narwhal tusk for his museum.
Ah, so there's more to it than just scientific curiosity.
Of course.
And of course, we can't forget his ever-faithful assistant, Conseil.
Oh, yeah, Conseil, always there to add a bit of humor to the situation.
So they set sail, and what's the atmosphere like on board?
Oh, it's tense.
Right.
People aren't sleeping, there are false alarms, the crew is on edge. It's just this constant state of anxiety and anticipation.
And then we're introduced to Ned Land, the expert harpooner.
Yeah, Ned Land.
Now, he's not so quick to buy into the whole narwhal theory.
Oh, no, he's skeptical right from the start.
He's like, come on, a narwhal couldn't possibly do that kind of damage.
Well, he knows whales, right?
Right.
He's got years of experience, and he even does this calculation of the pressure at different depths.
Oh, yeah, I love that part.
It's like at 32,000 feet, you'd be crushed like a pancake.
It's a great example of how Verne just seamlessly blends science and adventure in this book.
Oh, absolutely. He was a master at that.
So Ned's skeptical, but he's still determined to get within harpoon range of this thing.
He's a man of action, driven by a different kind of curiosity than Aronnax, but just as intense.
All right, so they're on this tense, anxiety-filled journey, and then they finally encounter this so-called narwhal during this nighttime chase.
Yeah, and it turns out it's not a narwhal at all.
It's the Nautilus, this technologically advanced submarine.
A submarine, can you imagine?
Way ahead of its time.
Absolutely, it was a real shock to them, and to readers at the time, too.
So during this encounter, Aronnax, Conseil, and Ned end up getting knocked overboard.
They're clinging to the Nautilus for hours, terrified, before they're finally taken inside.
And they have no idea what's going on, who these people are.
They're in the hands of this mysterious Captain Nemo.
And of course, Ned being Ned, he's already thinking about how to escape.
Well, yeah, escape is kind of his thing.
But then they meet Captain Nemo.
Ah, yes, the enigmatic Captain Nemo.
He delivers this incredibly eloquent, almost philosophical speech. And he basically says, look, I chose to save you. You're free to move about the ship, but you can never leave.
That's quite the catch, isn't it?
Talk about a captive audience.
It really sets the stage for the rest of the story and reveals a lot about Captain Nemo's character right from the start.
And the Nautilus itself, I mean, it's like an underwater palace, right?
It's incredible, isn't it? It has a library with 12,000 volumes, a museum full of these amazing shells, and the furniture, it's all made from ocean materials.
I mean, clearly Captain Nemo has spared no expense in creating this underwater world.
No, it's a testament to his genius, his ingenuity, but also his isolation from the world above.
But there are these strange little details, too, like he refuses to eat land animals.
Right, his clothes are woven from seashells.
Even his tobacco comes from seaweed.
It's like he's rejected everything from the surface world.
It's fascinating. And the technology of the Nautilus, I mean, it's just mind-blowing for its time.
Oh, absolutely.
The speed, the electric light, I mean, this was decades before any of this was even really conceivable.
It really speaks to Verne's visionary thinking, you know, his ability to imagine what the future of technology might hold.
So what happens next? I mean, they're trapped on this incredible submarine with this mysterious captain.
Well, that's where the real adventure begins.
They embark on this incredible journey through the depths of the ocean, exploring underwater forests, hunting with electric bullets, discovering Atlantis.
I mean, it's one amazing adventure after another.
And all the while, we learn more about Captain Nemo, this brilliant but tormented figure.
And we see the tensions rise between Nemo, Aronnax, and Ned Land.
Oh yeah, Ned's not going to stay put forever.
That's for sure.
So stay tuned because we're just getting started.
That's right. There's a lot more to uncover in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
We'll be back after a short break.
Sounds good.
You know, it really is amazing what Verne was able to imagine back then. I mean, a submarine powered by electricity.
It's mind-boggling.
Totally. But beyond all the cool gadgets and adventures, I was really struck by how relevant the book's themes still are today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's not just a fun adventure story. There's some real depth there.
Verne was really grappling with some big ideas about humanity and our relationship with technology in the natural world.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, those are questions that we're still asking ourselves today. Maybe even more so now.
Right. So let's talk about the Nautilus for a second.
Okay.
On the one hand, it's this incredible feat of engineering.
Oh, for sure.
Right. But it's also a symbol of isolation.
Yeah.
Of Nemo's rejection of the world, like above the surface.
It makes you think about the potential downsides of technology, right?
It does.
Like, can we innovate and create without isolating ourselves from each other and from the natural world?
Yeah, it's like, can we have the wonder of the Nautilus without the price that Nemo pays?
Right, exactly.
And then there's Nemo's relationship with the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
He sees it as this refuge, this place of incredible beauty and freedom, like the opposite of the world he left behind.
It's like he's found peace and liberation in a world that most people don't even understand, you know?
Right.
But it's also a world of immense power and danger, like we see with the giant squid and the maelstrom.
It's a delicate balance, for sure.
Yeah.
Which makes you think about our own relationship with nature, you know?
Yeah.
Are we meant to dominate it, to exploit it, or is there a way to live in harmony with it, to learn from it?
Verne seems to be saying that we mess with that balance at our own peril.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that makes this book so powerful, so enduring.
I agree. It forces us to confront these big questions about our place in the world.
But okay, let's dive back into some of the specific details that really stood out to me.
Okay.
First, there's that initial public reaction to the mysterious events.
Oh, yeah.
Remember how all those sea monster legends were suddenly back in the news?
Oh, yeah. It was like everyone was suddenly an expert on sea monsters.
Right, and they were digging up old reports from Aristotle and Pliny as if those somehow, like, you know, validated all the current hysteria.
It's a perfect example of how fear and uncertainty can just grip a society.
Like, we're hardwired to fill in the gaps with our anxieties.
Yeah.
And some people weren't content with just speculating. They were calling for the monster to be destroyed no matter what.
It's that instinct to lash out at what we don't understand, right?
Yeah, that fear of the unknown.
But sometimes that fear can also be a powerful motivator. I mean, it's what drives the expedition in the first place.
That's true.
Right.
That incident with the Scotia was a real turning point.
Yeah.
This is a reputable ship, a strong ship.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't some little fishing boat.
Right. And the fact that it was damaged in such a strange way, it really gave those monster theories more weight.
It shifted things from the realm of like, you know, tall tales to something more concrete, more real.
And then you have Professor Aronnax, who starts off as a skeptic.
Right, a man of science.
But even he gets caught up in all the monster talk.
Well, it's easy to get swept up in the excitement, especially when everyone around you is convinced that there's a giant sea monster out there.
And it's not like Aronnax is purely driven by by this noble pursuit of knowledge.
No, he's got his own motivation.
He wants to bring back a narwhal tusk for his museum, you know?
So he's not immune to the allure of discovery and the prestige that comes with it.
And then you have Ned Land, the practical, down-to-earth harpooner.
Yeah, Ned.
He's not buying the whole narwhal thing for a second.
He's seen whales. He knows what they're capable of.
And he's not afraid to speak his mind.
Oh no, Ned's not one to hold back his opinions.
And that scene where he calculates the pressure at different depths.
Oh yeah, that's classic Verne.
It's brilliant, you know. It's like he's bringing the science to life, making it real for the reader.
It's a great way to make these complex scientific concepts more accessible and engaging.
And then, bam, they finally encountered a nautilus.
And all their assumptions about sea monsters are just blown out of the water.
It's such a great twist. Like, you think you know what's going on, and then Verne just throws this curveball at you.
He was a master of surprise and suspense.
And then he throws them overboard.
Just to add to the drama, right?
Totally. It's like now we're really in uncharted territory.
It's a brilliant way to heighten the tension and put us right there with the characters, experiencing their fear and confusion.
And then we finally meet Captain Nemo.
This enigmatic, brilliant, but also deeply troubled figure.
Yeah, he's like a walking contradiction.
He's a man of science who's rejected the world of science.
Right. He's a humanist who's turned his back on humanity.
Exactly. He's full of these paradoxes.
And that speech where he tells them they can never leave.
It's chilling, isn't it?
It really reveals the darker side of his character.
Yeah, it's like for all his brilliance and even his compassion, he's still willing to to imprison these people.
To sacrifice their freedom to protect his own secrets.
It makes you question his motives, Like, is he really a good guy?
Right, and then we get to explore the Nautilus, and it's just like, wow.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Like a luxurious underwater palace.
Yeah, it's clear that Nemo has poured all his genius and resources into creating this incredible world.
But then you notice those little details, like he won't eat land animals, his clothes are made from seashells.
Right, his tobacco is from seaweed.
It's like he's trying to erase any trace of the surface world.
He's created this self-contained ecosystem, this perfect little world where he doesn't have to interact with humanity anymore.
And the technology, it's so advanced.
It's incredible to think that Verne could imagine all of this back then.
Right? Like, he was basically predicting the future.
Yeah, he was a true visionary.
So they set up on all these amazing adventures.
Exploring underwater forests, hunting with electric bullets, discovering Atlantis.
It's one incredible experience after another.
And through it all, we get these glimpses into Nemo's character. His brilliance, his grief, his anger.
Yeah, he's such a complex, fascinating character.
Definitely one of the most memorable literary characters of all time.
And then you have Ned Land, who's constantly scheming to escape.
Oh yeah, Ned's not going to be content with being a prisoner forever.
Right. And Aronnax, who's torn between this desire for freedom and this fascination with the world that Nemo has shown him.
It's a classic conflict, between the familiar and the unknown, the yearning for home and the lure of adventure.
And just when Ned thinks he's found a way out, bam, the Nautilus gets caught in this massive maelstrom.
It's like nature itself is conspiring to keep them trapped.
And then, the big question, what happened to Nemo?
Did he survive? What happened to the Nautilus?
Verne leaves us hanging.
He's a master of leaving us wanting more.
I mean, it's really incredible, isn't it? We're still talking about this book, still debating Nemo's fate after all these years.
It really speaks to the power of Verne's storytelling.
Right. But for me, it's not just about the ending. It's about all those big questions that the book raises, the ones that really stay with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that whole tension between humanity and nature.
Mm-hmm.
Nemo sees the ocean as this refuge, a place of beauty, a stark contrast to the world he's left behind.
Yeah, and he's not wrong. The ocean was this vast, unexplored frontier, especially back then.
Right.
It was a place where the rules of society didn't apply, a place where you could escape the violence and corruption of the world above.
But it's also a world of immense power and danger, like we see with those encounters with the giant squid, the maelstrom.
Yeah, it's a reminder that nature is not something we can control, no matter how advanced our technology goes.
So where do we fit in?
Right.
Are we meant to dominate nature, exploit it, or is there a way to live in harmony with it?
Verne seems to be suggesting that we need to find a way to coexist, to respect nature's power.
But can we really escape the world we've created?
That's a good question.
Well, Nemo builds the Nautilus, this amazing piece of technology, but it also becomes his prison.
Yeah, he's isolated from humanity, from those connections that make us human.
And then there's that question of Nemo's vengeance.
Right.
He's clearly a man who's been hurt, and he's seeking revenge against those he sees as responsible.
But is it justified? Is his anger righteous, or is it ultimately self-destructive?
That's what's so brilliant about Verne's writing.
I know, right?
He doesn't give us easy answers.
He makes us think, makes us question our own assumptions.
Nemo is both a hero and a villain, a champion of the oppressed, but also a vengeful tyrant.
Exactly.
It's a reminder that even the best intentions can be twisted, can be corrupted by anger and hate.
And it makes us think about the nature of justice.
Right.
Is it about revenge, or is it about finding a way to heal, to move beyond the cycle of violence?
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is so much more than just an adventure story.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a work of social commentary, a philosophical exploration of humanity's place in the world.
It makes us question our relationship with technology, with nature, with each other.
And it's a story that stays with you long after you finish reading it.
Like the ocean itself, it has these hidden depths that you keep discovering.
So if you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend you check it out.
You won't regret it.
And as you read, think about this. What if Nemo's ultimate goal wasn't revenge, but to create a new society, a better world, free from the problems of the surface?
Interesting.
Could his actions be seen as a way of trying to build a better future, even if it means making some tough choices?
That's a really thought-provoking question.
We've only scratched the surface here today.
We've so much more to explore.
So dive in, discover its wonders, and let us know what you think.
We'd love to hear your thoughts.